How's it going, everybody? So we haven't done one of these videos in a while. I figured I'd just do a little update. I really don't have much to update since our last, but it's been a little while. I got the old Yamaha FJR out today, just kind of doing a little ride. About to go to the gym and try to get my fat butt in shape. And then I got detoured because it was a fun ride, so I came out here. So, long story short, I'm reading that they're going to require a vaccine. You would have had it for 14 days, and I think it's going to go into effect like August 9th. I don't know that to be true. I read that through the news, which you can't believe half what you read on the news. What I'm wondering that I don't know the answer to, and I just need to take the time, and I won't be able to next week. I'm going to be tied up in Dutch Harbor. But what I want to do is figure out, do we fall under a loophole? Because if we're coming up here, you know, we've always fell under the loophole coming to Alaska. I wonder if that will pertain to the vaccine. I wonder if they're going to try to keep us out of Canada if we don't have the vaccine trying to come up here. I don't know the answer to that. If you do know the answer to that, please. My email address is bigSkyBlessing@gmail.com. If you're tuning in for the first time, what we do is I made this trip 6 times during the COVID pandemic and found for it to be easy as long as I had my ducks in a row. There's no information. Everything you see on the Canadian website is really vague. So, you know, you'll think you need to download the Arrive Can app, which is like the worst thing you could do because it'll mess your whole trip up because it don't pertain to coming to Alaska. So anyway, long story short, I'm trying to have one source where we can share information. I've got 3 emails to read, and then I'll just go over something real quick. So I heard from Todd Black. He made it through. He said that he wrote a really nice detailed email. He had no issues. He did cross over where we told him to. He did the RV thing coming up. Of course, you can't stay in the Canadian government-owned RV parks, and he just talks about that. He says he didn't really have an issue with it. He was able to stay in his RV. That is a question I get a lot of, so that's pretty cool. He said as far as at the border, only an hour and a half, not too bad. They did ask him, you know, if he had any bear spray, this, that, and the other. You can't have bear spray. They just always ask. His wife had a taser. They didn't let her carry the taser in. He gave a really thorough email. The only thing that I want to touch on that he said, I carried 8 to 10 gallons of fuel and never got anywhere close to needing it. There were plenty of fuel stops throughout the entire route. To that point, I would say carrying the extra gas is not necessary. I disagree. I strong-heartedly disagree. And maybe I'm too much of a just-in-case kind of guy, but on that route, if one gas station's down, number one, you're going to be, most people that are coming up, you're pulling something. For example, I've got a Subaru Outback that gets almost 30 miles a gallon. We got 10 to 12 miles a gallon because we're pulling a U-Haul trailer. So when we came up the very first time, we came up with 2 different Subarus. But there's some times that if one of those gas stations hadn't worked and it's one gas pump, we wouldn't have had any gas. We'd have ran out. So, and you can save money with those gas cans. So I've always erred on the side of I want to have a backup plan, and maybe that comes from riding motorcycles to flying airplanes to things that I like to do are dangerous, so you better have a backup plan. I was always that way in law enforcement. I always had a backup plan. So I'm very much a conservative. I'm very much a let's have a backup plan kind of guy. I recommend the gas. Worst case scenario, you're going to save yourself some money. It's not going to go to waste. And I did do a video that laid out where to use that gas to save you some money and where you would always have gas in that need. I've laid it out in a safe manner, as the mosquitoes are horrible out here. So with that being said, I do recommend at least 10 gallons of gas at minimum. I really do. You're going to see 90% of the people that do that route, especially Alaskans, they have the gas. Todd's right. If everything's open, you don't really have to have it. No, you don't. But depending on how much miles a gallon you get. So, in a U-Haul, I damn sure would want it because they're getting like 7 or 8 miles a gallon. Pretty well trip planned for making it 180 miles per stop if you're pulling something of all you're going to get, because your fuel mileage is going to go to crap. So with that being said, I do think that you need the extra gas. That's my own 2 cents, but I always err on the side of caution. Let me look for his email again. He said the road conditions were great. You know, he said that his biggest surprise was when he arrived at Beaver Creek that, you know, it wasn't well marked. Basically, you know, he didn't realize it wasn't like nobody waiting. Nobody's watching you with a stopwatch to get through there. I think he probably was shocked how relaxed it was. It's super relaxed. He said that he was paying about $5.04 a gallon was the cheapest he found throughout the route. So, gas in Canada. Thank you, Joe Biden. I mean, I shouldn't bring up politics on my channel, but geez, man, between that, shutting the Canadian pipeline down, or the pipeline that was good came down and went through Canada and all that, which I know I said I wasn't going to put politics on here, but man, gas is through the roof. So $5.04 a gallon, man, I hadn't paid that for I was paying that less than that for aviation fuel not too terribly long ago. Got another email from Sabrina. She said that she, no, never mind. That's from Mexico stuff. Let's see. We got another email from a lady named Jen. She said her and her husband wanted to drive up to, was planning to drive their son's truck into Anchorage for him. He's in the Air Force, and she's been watching our videos, and she wanted to ask would she be able to. Well, if you've had the vaccine, and I don't promote the vaccine, but if you've had the vaccine, I think come August 9th, if I'm reading it right, after August 9th, you'll be able to. I'd wait till after that to make that decision, but I think you would be able to. It looks like maybe. We're still waiting for the final words to come out on that. Nothing's been official as of yet. But if you are vaccinated and you've had it for 14 days, I think you actually might be able to. As of right now, no, you couldn't. You'd have to have proof. So let's go over the proof. I've had a few other little emails like that. So we'll go over right now as it stands as of today, and today is July 25th, a day after my wife's birthday. As it stands right now, you have to prove Alaska's your primary residence in order to come up here through Canada, or you have to prove that you're moving to Alaska. And in that proof, they want to see documentation of what you did with your last place in the lower 48. They want to see documentation of where you're moving to in the front, and they love to see employment letters. They don't like to see people moving for the hell of it. So they love to see a letter from an employer. That's definitely top notch. They're not asking any vaccine stuff right now. You do have to have a negative PCR test done within the last 72 hours. Great Falls has a great place. The best place to cross, in my opinion, hands down, and everyone that's done it has agreed, is Shelby. It's just north of Shelby, Montana. It's in Sweetgrass, Montana. Couts, Alberta is the border. It's well worth the extra mileage, trust me. If you go to Portal, you're going to get searched, pretty well guaranteed. They're going to take forever. And I don't know much about the Washington side. There's not a lot of services open on the Washington side from what I'm hearing. So, but yeah, I don't really have any more updates. I'm actually looking at you guys to update me. I'm more emails in of how it goes, and let's keep everybody else updated. But I'm really waiting to see about how this vaccine thing rolls out here in a couple of weeks. As far as because I do get a lot of emails of people like me that are, I've had COVID. My wife went to the hospital. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible, especially for my wife. We were able to get some ivermectin, and she literally went from being on oxygen to her oxygen level going down to feeling great in 2 days. Ivermectin really worked for us. However, it's not recommended by the FDA and the CDC. So, we did find a doctor that prescribed it. We wasn't taking animal formula. And I did a whole video on that if you're interested in that. But, we've already had COVID. We've already survived it. And we've consulted with our doctor, and our doctor is telling us, and we have two different doctors, and both of our doctors are telling us not to take the vaccine. So we're not going to. That's a decision that we made between our doctor and I. So with that being said, we're not going to, and I'm running into other people that are running the exact same thing. There's still a lot of side effects. I do have a pilot's license, commercial pilot's license. I have to keep my medical up. And my flight doctor, I've had two doctors tell me not to take the vaccine. There's pilots that have taken it and started having heart problems and things like that. So, I have my worry, and people do have their worry. So, I'd rather just work on my health, work on eating healthy, and I just need to lay off the IPA beer, and I need to get myself in shape. And I'm not worried about COVID. But with that being said, so I'm having a lot of these people ask me, how can I get through Canada? So really, to be honest with you, I don't have a lot to update you this week. This is what we're waiting on. We're waiting to see what Canada's final rule is, and if anyone knows the answer to that, let me know. And I don't think the officials would know as of now. Everything's going to fall, I think I'm hearing August 9th. I think at least by August 21st. Everything's been updating on the 21st, 22nd of every month. I think at least by the 21st, we'll have some new set rules of what Canada's going to allow. And when that happens, then that's when we'll know a whole lot more. But I don't have much to update. Everybody that I have talked to, probably 15 people since the last video. It's all been, hey, thanks for your tips. Everything worked. Everything went smooth. I've not heard anything negative. Nothing. Not one thing negative all the way through. So that's been good. But as it stands now, You'd have to have proof going up, just like I said. Oh, and one thing that I keep forgetting to reiterate is the weapons thing. If you want to ship bullets, if you want to ship bullets up, or if you want to ship bullets, you can do that through Alaska Airlines, or you can take, I think it's 50,000 rounds. I always get that wrong. It's either 5,000 or 50,000. I never get it right. You can find that on the Canadian website. Also, there's in Anchorage, I'm good friends with some people that own a gun shop. If you wanted to ship it from your gun dealer where you're at to the gun dealer up here in Anchorage, I can hook you up with someone that's super fair and super honest. And I'll get their name. In fact, I'll get their name out of my next video. So I've got their information, but it's on the phone that I'm recording this from. And plus, I want to make sure I've given the right phone number and all that good stuff. But if you're interested in that, I do have a hookup in Anchorage that I can say I highly trust and endorse. Anyway, if you've never watched before, please subscribe to my channel. I have tons of information about coming up. And anytime there's something new that comes out, I do get a video out because I want us to be one source. But I have information on lodging, I have information on gas stops, anything you can think of. I've got a PDF build up on gas stops. I think I'm gonna build one up on lodging and all that good stuff here for too terribly long of what I endorse and recommend. But you got to stay at Northern Rockies Lodge. Avoid Watson Lake. Those are my advice. Northern Rockies Lodge is so cool. Anyway, I don't want to bore you guys with the exact same information over and over and over, but I haven't heard anything different. I am getting a lot of questions lately here about my doctor and I have chosen it. I don't need the vaccine right now, and I'm not going to get the vaccine right now. Will Canada let me through September 1st? And I don't know the answer to that, so I'm waiting to find out. I'll call and find out once the rule goes, because I want us to all have the good information. But really, I don't have anything new to report. I hope everyone's doing well. And by any means, if you and your doctor feel like the vaccine's right for you, please don't listen to my advice. I have zero medical training. I'm not a doctor. Take it. A lot of people, I'd say 90% of my friends have taken it, and they love it, and they think it's the best day of their life since they had it. That is, to me, that's a personal decision. So please don't take my advice on that. I'm not trying to give any medical advice. All I am stating is 100%. I'm not taking it as of right now, and but that could change. Who knows? But anyway, and I'm getting a lot of those questions, so I don't know how to answer those questions. So I guess we'll see what comes in the next few weeks. We'll know if they're going to require the vaccine or not. If you're worried about it, I would get up here before August 9th. And there's always another option, and I don't know how late into the year they run. They might run year round. That's something I really need to look into. There's always the ferry you can catch. It's definitely more expensive. It's a lot more expensive, but I mean, we're talking probably $4,000 or more at least. I mean, that's probably where we'll start for you and one other person to come on with a vehicle and a trailer and get somewhere to sleep. But there is always the ferry. You could take it to Whittier, but I don't know how long I know it'll at least go till September. Those waters don't freeze in Whittier, so it could go year round. So honestly, I don't know how that works either. Maybe that'd be something we can start digging into and make some videos on taking the ferry. I'm going to buy a Gull Wing next spring, I hope, a used one. And everything's so astronomically expensive up here. If I do that, then I would end up buying in the lower 48. And I'm looking at, if they do require the vaccine, I'm looking at taking the ferry with it. So ride that puppy to Bellingham, Washington, get on the ferry in 4 days up to Alaska. It only slow you down by like a day, and it costs you more money, but that'd be kind of a fun adventure anyway, So anyway, well, that's all I have for this week. I wish I had a lot more. I'm gonna hit the gym. It's already getting late. I got a big day tomorrow, but sorry I don't have more information for you. I look forward to updating you when I do hear something. Again, my email address, bigskyblessing@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing from you guys. All right, thank you so much. Bye.